It is ridiculous and it is against the laws of nature that we can have somebody sitting pretty who takes home more money than the credible entrepreneur who is doing actual production of goods and services.
We always say it as it is.
It is only in this country that when a thief is arrested, you hear elders from their tribe saying, he is our son and he is our thief.
If you are deviant
Yes.
and I call you leader,
Yes.
probably you are already a leader, but you are leading in the wrong direction.
We want to see the role of the youth
Yeah.
in the security,
Yes.
governance,
Yes.
and development.
The youth that I meet and work with here, you know, we call them the millennials and X's and Y's, this and that. They don't necessarily want to live like their fathers and grandfathers,
Yes.
do business like their fathers and grandfathers. They're more independent, they're better educated, and they're the ones that are making everything move in this region.
We look at the issues, we talk about issues that impact people's lives in Africa.
The African peoples themselves continue to cheer bad leaders, and because they cheer them on, they continue to be misled.
Let me ask you, doctor, would you rather be somebody who does not enjoy so much freedom but you are rich?
Yes.
Or you'd rather be poor who you are actually imprisoned by the poverty itself?
My goal is not to come here and say, I want the majority ownership, I want to own this, I want to own that, I want to do this. My goal is we all make money and we're all happy, and I help build a big business here.
Punchline is for Africa, with Africa, from Africa.
To you, and thank you so much for joining us. It is the 1st of March 2021, a beautiful morning here in Nairobi. I trust that your day has started off well. Good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in today. Before we get into what is happening in the newspapers, I'd like to bring us up to date with the latest figures in terms of COVID-19. And in Kenya this morning, the cases stands at 105,973 cases that have been confirmed in the country. And of course, the death toll right now stands at 1,856, and recovery so far is 86,678 cases, and Uganda 40,335 cases. Recoveries is 14,616. And then we go to South Africa, where the figures right now has topped 1,513,393 cases, and the death toll is 49,993. Recoveries is 1,430,259 cases, and the total cases in Africa this morning stands at 3,038,500. The number of people who have died is 101,705, and the recoveries have topped over 2.6 million cases. So that is where we are in terms of COVID-19 this morning. And of course, as I usually say, the figures as are set to change because different countries keep updating the latest figures as they receive them. So thank you so much. On the panel this morning, I'm joined by Jevan Karanja, all the way from Nanyuki. Jevan, good morning to you.
It's indeed a very good morning here in Nanyuki. It's the first day of March. We are happy we have a new month. And good morning to our viewers, wherever they are watching us from. And good morning also to our team in Nairobi. Thanks for having me on the show.
All right, it's nice to have you. And we're also joined by Douglas Kirimi, who shall be with us very, very shortly as we wait for Douglas to join us. So now let's just get into it. A lot of things have happened. Today is Monday, and we know over the weekend it's a beehive of activities, especially in our political win. But before we get there, I'd like to just quickly read the headlines first, and then we can pick on what to talk about this morning. So the front pages of the Daily Nation: exams crisis over missing candidates. Where are they? Hundreds of students will not write their KCPE or KCSE national examinations because they dropped out of school at the 11th hour. Head teachers cannot account for those who failed to report back in October. The story is on page 8 and 9 of the Daily Nation. And 751,150 that this year, I think that is the figure. And this year, some 1,187,517 candidates have registered for a KCP, and 751,150 that is for KCSE. It was not possible to get official numbers of missing candidates from the Education Ministry. So that is something there that is worrying the government. Where are these children? And on the side there, Raila's new dilemma on constituencies. Great expectations. Can ODM leader Raila Odinga really deliver on a promise to dish out constituencies beyond those allocated in the BBI document? And then we move over to the Star newspaper. Proposed a tough new law to ban pornography also imposes a 5 million shillings fine on those luring others to join terror groups. And also, and then that is the main headline there on the Star. And then battle of crowds as Raila Ruto marshaled troops and race to rescue North and White Rhino from going extinct. And then mother of quadruplets detained over hospital bill appeals for help. ODM grassroots elections to cost 220 million Kenya shillings. Those are the subtitles down there. And then we go to the Standard newspaper. The main headline: Ruto answers Uhuru. Battle for Mount Kenya. Vote after President Kenyatta accused him of raiding his backyard through the back door. DP Ruto returned to Mount Kenya yesterday and declared that nothing would stop him from touring the region because his name was on the ballot, just like Uhuru. And the story is on page 8 of the Standard newspaper. And that is where we shall start our conversation today. We are joined by Douglas Karimi. Douglas, a very good morning to you.
A very good morning to you, Miriam Ogutu, to our crew at our headquarters in Nairobi, and also to my friend Jevan Karanja, to our viewers across the world, and also good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where they are watching us from. Thank you for having me on the show.
It's nice to have both of you here. So now I'll just read, just on the front pages before we get into the story on page 8, a quote by President Uhuru Kenyatta a couple of days ago, remember, during the Sagana meeting. And this is what President Kenyatta is quoted to have said: a well-intended visitor uses the front gate and sits with the family patriarch to discuss a situation. Beware of the other one knocking on your bedroom window, calling out your wife for a negotiation. Okay, now that's really serious. That's what President Uhuru Kenyatta said a few weeks ago. We remember that. So this is what Deputy President William Ruto, his deputy, said yesterday. There are people who have issues with me when I go around the country, but I wish to remind them that my name was on the ballot, just like Uhuru. I also took on an oath of office. When I tour, I'm only fulfilling my mandate. So that is where we're starting our conversation this morning. And I'll start with you, Javen.
Yeah, thank you, Miriam, for that question. But we must also, and I think the Deputy President, William Ruto, has been thinking that he is a co-president. And that is why he is saying that he was elected with the same ticket. He can do what the president does. And I want to remind him, presidency is not a half-half. It is not shared. We have president and we have the deputy president. And constitutionally, deputy president is a principal assistant of the president. Therefore, he needs to act when asked to by the president. But the agenda that he has been pushing, he is not assisting the president in his household agenda. He is not assisting the president when he is prematurely campaigning for 2022. He is not assisting the president when he is promising projects to the people of Mount Kenya and to the people around the country, when he knows very well he will not deliver such promises. Because we know when he had the power, when he was the face of a deputy president in government, he used to launch air projects that were not budgeted. Therefore, we have a problem in this country in terms of the president. And I think the deputy president, being the first under the Constitution 2010 to be the deputy president, and thinking that because he was on the ballot, he is equal to a president, I think that is not a good gesture. he need to respect the president. And when he comes to the president's backyard, he need to come straightforward, not issuing threats to the president, but he need to come. And if he feels, and I wish the deputy president was coming in the capacity of a 2022 aspirant, rather than coming in as a deputy president. That to me would have made a lot of sense. But now he is coming with both titles, a 2022 presidential aspirant and a deputy president. He need to do one thing, and that is to ensure that he has one title, so that as Kenyans we can understand what he is saying. But on this issue, Miriam, I feel like the deputy president is taking his politics too far, and when he comes and he is now threatening the president that he can come to Mount Kenya and start answering. You know that issue, Miriam, answering the president is not a good thing. He need also to understand that he's a deputy president, and a lot of people look at him. I saw him. He was so furious in Bomas of Kenya when a youth leader, Alex Matere, tried to criticize his wheelbarrow agenda, and I saw him getting out of. He was so emotional, and he answered him directly. Therefore, I don't see the deputy president in future, if he becomes the president, allowing or condoning a deputy president who will go out there sabotaging his government, doing all the manner of things that he is doing. Now, he should set an example so that we can see the kind of president that he can be, and we can see the kind of person that we want. But a person who sabotages his own government is not safe for this nation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very well. Thank you so much. Now, Deputy President, the story is on page 8 of the Standard newspaper, and it is the main story on the Standard newspaper. That's why we're looking at it. Deputy President William Ruto has scaled up his onslaught on political detractors, including those who, like President Uhuru Kenyatta, feel he is raiding their turfs with populist politics. At a church event hosted by his latest political coach, Murang'a Senator Irungu Kang'ata, Ruto said nothing will stop him from touring Mount Kenya region because just like President Uhuru Kenyatta, my name was on the ballot in the last election. There are people who have issues with me when I go around the country, but I wish to remind them that my name was on the ballot during elections, and like Uhuru, I took the oath of office when I crisscrossed the country. I'm only fulfilling my mandate as the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Ruto told the congregants yesterday. Douglas.
Miriam, one of the things that I would wish the BBI to go and just address in matters executive, we can deal with the Prime Minister later, but this issue of a Deputy President in the Constitution, the framers of our Constitution made a mistake. They didn't know that we can have a very rogue Deputy President in a setup where he will come now and start reading riot acts to the President of the Republic of Kenya. William Ruto claims that today he is a co-president because his name and that of President Uhuru Kenyatta was on the ballot. We have never had a deputy governor who has gone out to say that, oh, now we have been elected together with this man, and this is what has been going around, and this is what is supposed to happen. It is only Deputy President William Ruto who has been taking advantage of his position as a Deputy President to continue advancing his 2022 presidential bid, which is a personal ambition. His ambition to become President of the Republic of Kenya is not an ambition of corrective ambition or corrective responsibility of the people of Kenya. We need to distinguish between his political ambition to be President of the Republic of Kenya and his mandate as a principal assistant to the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. Uhuru Kenyatta. What we are seeing today from William Ruto is acts of defiance and reading riots to the President of the Republic of Kenya. I am a small man, an ordinary person, but I can see the problem that Deputy President William Ruto is creating in this country. We don't want a situation where a rogue and a defiant deputy becomes my deputy in the future, or Jivans, or anyone who will ever become president in this country. What we have created with our constitution is what anyone can become president, but people should also in the constitution have an opportunity to deliver on their mandate. When you become president in this country, you should be given an opportunity, Miriam, for you to be able to deliver on your mandate. When you keep coming to the political bastion of President Uhuru Kenyatta, carrying a bunch of MPs who keep insulting him and also belittling the end of state, because you, as a deputy president, your ambition to become president have grown wings, such that you cannot be able to deliver on your mandate as a deputy president. You keep invoking the part where my name was on the ballot with that of President Uhuru Kenyatta. That is the highest level of hypocrisy and the kind of political conmanship, a kind of politics and politics of chameleonship that we are talking about in this country, Miriam. This is a case of a man, a jilted man who has been unable to deliver on his mandate for over 9 years. Deputy President William Ruto has been the deputy in this country. He has been a deputy president in this country. We have never had him invoke that in 2013, 2014, 2015 and thereof. But at the end of the day, today, because he wants to run for president, he wants to keep invoking that and also arousing the anger of people that support the president without inhibitions of 2022. 2022 will come. We shall elect our own president. We shall elect our own governors and our own MPs. But at this point, he should deliver on his mandate. If he is unable to deliver on his mandate, he should resign, as Jevan is saying, and continue working as a 2022 political aspirant, as a president, so that when I'm running for MP in Meru or any other part of the country, we should be competing on the same level with the deputy president, him as president and me as an MP. But at the end of the day, Miriam, what we are seeing today, these are level and a character that is being exposed in William Ruto, a character of defiance and a rogue deputy, a man that you cannot wish to work with, a man that continues taking credit of another man's presidency, taking himself as a co-president, Miriam. Our constitution never encompassed and never envisaged a situation where Deputy President William Ruto or any other person that will become deputy is not a co-president. He is a principal assistant to the president. All the things that we see him doing today are 2022 campaigns disguised as an official mandate that is dispensing across Mount Kenya, Miriam, and he is campaigning to be president. This thing about Deputy William Ruto, he should be impeached, Miriam, or he should resign from government and continue. When he becomes president, he can have a deputy that they are co-president with. Thank you.
Okay. Well, he said he's not resigning. He's not going anywhere. He's saying as much as there's a lot of smoke in the kitchen, he'll stick up until that food is ready. So we're waiting for whatever food is being prepared there in Jubilee's kitchen. Now, Jubilee Vice Chairman David Murathe has been leading an anti-Ruto campaign. As I said, I'm reading from the story on page 8 of the Standard newspaper, and that is the main story on the front pages there. Ruto answers Uhuru, and some of the people who are not happy with my visits to this region are not even elected leaders. This is what Deputy President said yesterday. They must understand that I am on duty whenever they see me traversing the country, Ruto said. Ruto said fulfillment of most of the promises they made to Kenyans when Jubilee took power have been derailed by the ongoing constitutional reforms. He, however, promises to restore the river back to its course after the BBI when he ascends to presidency. So basically, he's telling, because Murathe has been very categorical, and he really, he does not hide how he feels about Deputy President William Ruto. But Deputy President is saying, I will come there and I'll go to anywhere else in Kenya because I am the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. And we had promises that we did promise the people of Kenya. So I have a duty to walk around and to traverse and to see that some of these things have been done. So when you see me come, wherever I go, it does not matter what I'm doing there. I am on duty. So give me a break. Abdi Musa, good morning.
Morning, Miriam.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you so much. As far as Deputy President William Ruto is concerned, Miriam, my question is drawn to the very fact of what is happening between these two principles. And the question goes directly to the Deputy President. What has made the office of the Deputy President so idle that Dr. William Ruto sees, going to rallies and traversing the nation as the only option? When you look constitutionally at these offices, Miriam, the Constitution of Kenya tells us he is the principal assistant to the President of Kenya. He is the deputy sovereign leader of this nation. Anything assigned to him by the President of this country, he will effectively do it. So I wonder, Miriam, what has made the office of the deputy president so idle that they see the only way they can purge for development is by using the populism, tools of traversing the country all the time, being in the headline of these newspapers and the media house and mainstream media. Miriam, the question is very simple. I think we are seeing an era whereby people are not working or putting their constitutional roles into practice, but they are doing it with politics, Miriam. And this is very saddening. We have national security agenda, we have counter-terrorism agenda, we have development agenda, we have emergency issue, we have locust invasion, we have COVID-19 pandemic. We have a lot of things happening in this country. And sometimes when you see President Uhuru Kenyatta, one of the things I've already noticed about him is that he's really lonely when it comes to work. President Uhuru Kenyatta has been overwhelmed. We see human trait on how people work and how people get themselves out. You see him formulating the COVID-19 economic recovery program. He's here in Ethiopia, he's here in Somalia. The other day, President Biden called him to talk to him about the issue of Tigray, the Tigray region in northern Ethiopia. A lot of issues. It's like he's not only serving this country, Kenya, he's also acting as a prefect for other, unstable nations across the Horn of Africa. And now I felt, Miriam, this is the time you should be stepping in for your senior. Now President Uhuru Kenyatta has been made the chairperson of African Union Security Council. That means a lot. He is going to be tasked with the responsibilities of Boko Haram, a lot of things. But I felt like now, if your deputy only thinks that the only way it can help you is by popularizing and using public relations stunt to go from one place to another, then it becomes so unethical even of that office, leave alone that individual in that office, because that office carries a lot of honor. I think Kenya, we might not be good as other Oriental or Western nations, but when it comes to the African context, we are better, Miriam. And we've had good presidents. We've had presidents who ensured, some reforms have been made in this country. You remember Moody Awori, Deputy President Moody Awori, his reforms in the prisons sector, Miriam, you remember very well on how he revolutionized, the prison sector. We have a lot of presidents, Deputy President. You remember Joseph Murumbi. He is the founding father of the Kenya National Archives. A lot of good things. We've had reforms. The women prison, where Moody Awori brought a lot of sanity and transparency, in this. And now I'm seeing the deputy president only focused on principal things, which the president is meant to handle. Issues of national development, issues of projects, issues of driving the national consensus, Miriam, issues of national healing. This should be driven by a symbol of national unity as enshrined in the Constitution of Kenya. And one of the symbols of national unity is the presidency, Miriam, the office. So, to my opinion, whatever deputy president is doing, he is not going to be remembered for the good things he has done. I don't think Deputy President William Ruto is even having a plan of opening a cultural gallery or any, a good national outfit for this nation. He will just, it's 2 years gone, Miriam, and how I wish you give such kind of a position to someone like Joseph Murumbi or George Saitoti. You will see a lot of differences.
Okay.
So I'm going to remember Deputy President William Ruto not for any reforms he has made in that office. He was not symbolic. Anything he says, it must be a meeting in the current with politicians. I have not seen him coming out, like Moody Awori did, visiting these prisons without any, attention from the media. Joseph Murumbi had to go all 54, had to go around all the 54 African states, Miriam, collecting cultural artifacts, collecting community artifacts. In every office or every deputy president or president he meets, he must come up with a souvenir. And that is the reason why Kenya National Archives, Miriam, when you go there, a National Museum of Kenya, and the Joseph Murumbi Gallery Center, these are the things, the deputy presidents will be remembered for. But what will I remember for Deputy President William Ruto? The other day, Miriam, and this is this is the community confession. The members of the northern side of this country, members of parliament and caucuses, approached him and told him, fine, the president is really busy with national developments and projects. we are now holding our 37th or 36th commemoration of the Wagala massacre victims, whom 5,000 of them died in 1984. So we are requesting from your office if you can build us a memorial center in that area so that at least the kids of the future can learn a lot of things from this area. It will act as a generational, transformation. It will be a symbolism of what happened in the past. Up to now, Miriam, we are yet to hear from him. These are some of the good things, a deputy president should do. And now I wonder if you think that you must be so idle if you think the only way you can help the president of Kenya is by moving across this country, being the number one critic of the development issues he does. And I would like to finish with comparative analysis of the presidents, deputy presidents in this continent, Miriam. We've had, I think the current deputy president of the Republic of Tanzania is a lady. And whatever she does, she's really helping Magufuli in everything she can. Up to now, the moment Magufuli has been elected to power, I've never seen that deputy president, Miriam, having that public relations stunt whereby you command everything, you command TV, you command newspaper. She's just a humble servant. Whenever president appears, she is there. She introduces Magufuli. But when was the last time you saw President Uhuru Kenyatta, leave alone these national meetings, these one which are forced, the national prayer and breakfast meeting, these are forced things. When have you seen the genuine deputy president coming out to introduce wholeheartedly President Uhuru Kenyatta to the public? We've not seen that. Mm-hmm. It is not all the time we've seen Mike Pence, no matter how he is senior. This is the perfect example we like to take. The president of the United States of America, the former Donald Trump, was a madman, Miriam. But have you ever seen Mike Pence going to the Congress or the Capitol saying, I want to take over from the madman and being the president? Politics sometimes deserve respect. The man is very old, he's 74, Donald Trump. He has broken deals with nuclear, he has opted out of Paris Accord, climate change, he has opted out of nuclear, the Iran nuclear deal, a lot of things. But we've not seen Mike Pence overstepping and doing some of the things. He's been really restricted himself to the Congress, whereby he is helping in passing of the bills, Miriam. And so it's my humble conviction. I think, for heaven's sake, Deputy President should stop being idle and should stop now focusing on his legacy. A wheelbarrow cannot be a legacy. Handouts can never be a legacy. But leaving some of the cultural and, historical precedents Deputy Presidents have done in this nation is the legacy, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much. And we're also joined by Engineer Victor Ngatia this morning from Nakuru. Engineer, very good morning to you.
Morning, Miriam, and how are you today?
Very fine, and nice to have you on the show. So we were looking at the news making headlines here this morning, and we started with the Standard newspaper. Of course, you got us talking about what Deputy President William Ruto said, and he said, we must understand that I'm on duty whenever they see me traversing the country, and then just keeping a few lines and going the same story up there. If he wins power, Ruto said his government will set aside 100 million Kenya shillings to promote agriculture and 100 million Kenya shillings to promote small-scale businesses. At the same time, he's saying, just wait. When I become president, this is what I will do. But in the meantime, when you see me anywhere, just know that I'm advancing the government's agenda and I'm here on duty. But I can't go and present President Uhuru Kenyatta with these wonderful ideas right now. But I'm still working. Is that not confusing even to Kenyans who are paying for his salary?
It's not only confusing. It is playing with Kenyans. And I think, first of all, we just need to appreciate what Musa came up with. Musa has really put in two major points. Mm-hmm. He really put it across that the deputy president seems to forget of the major problems that this country is facing. He seems to forget of what exactly he's supposed to be doing. When the president is busy trying to deal with the major crisis or the major infrastructural problems in this country, internationally and nationally, he seems to compete with the president as opposed to dealing with exactly what he's supposed to deal with. He's gone ahead and given us very good examples of what Mudiawari did when he was the vice president. And for sure, those are the things we need to remember the deputy presidents for. And if anything, those are the things that might even make him the president. To me, he comes out as one of the three angels that we know of. When, in God had three angels. We had Angel Gabriel, Michael, and there was Lucifer. And those who read the Bible can know that Lucifer was in charge of praise and worship. And every day, the praise and worship team seemed to give the praises to God. And at some point, Lucifer became jealous and wished to receive the praises that God was supposed to be receiving. But one thing I love about God is that he did not waste any time. He dealt with Lucifer instantly. And Lucifer has become who he is today, the Satan in this world. So when you see a leader competing with his senior on matters development, on matters leadership, on matters holding the country together, and let's not confuse assisting and competing, because there is assisting and there is competing with leadership. What Ruto is doing is not assisting, he is competing. We have seen that he's leading in the media. Mainstream media, there's no day that the mainstream media will not mention Ruto, will not cover his events, and his events are not necessarily in praise of what the government is doing. His events are basically criticizing the very government that he is the deputy president. I mean, all these things, whether we go to the dailies, every day it's against the president, against the government that he leads. But again, we must acknowledge and appreciate that we are a political country. I mean, everything is more political than development. Everything is more political than having things done the right way. Everything is more political than respect. Everything is more political, as opposed to delivering to the people. When he goes and talks about issues that will never be delivered, it is just about politics and not the very development. He's very good in mastering the roads and mastering the buildings that are coming up and the projects that are coming up. And he'll be quick to mention to show that he's doing his job and that, he's the one that is doing all these things. But his finishing remarks will always be against the government. Like now we are hearing of him talking about the people, and we know he means the president, who are not happy with him visiting the central part of Kenya, Mount Kenya. The reason behind that, he's trying to ridicule the president. He's trying to show him that you should not have a problem. But again, who has a problem with him going to Mount Kenya? The problem that is very clear is not him going to Mount Kenya. It's him going to Mount Kenya through the back door. He does not want to actually acknowledge and appreciate that there are leaders who are basically 100% elected by the Mount Kenya region. He wants to go in there as himself. He's one who's He never made himself. Defiance is acceptable. But it can never be acceptable when it is coming from within the very institution or the very party. If it's an opposition defiance, we'll agree. We have seen Millicent do a lot of that, and we didn't mind. But when we see somebody like the deputy president defiantly speaking of his own government, I think that is an injustice. I think he has this problem of entitlement. He feels entitled like Lucifer was in heaven. He thought he's entitled to becoming the president, and therefore not even God would stop him from becoming God of this world. Musa actually gave us a very good example. When you see somebody like Ruto going to Mount Kenya region and telling them how much he's going to give them when he becomes president. You just mentioned he's planning to give 100 million or to set aside 100 million for agriculture. So what happens to this very government that is still handling the same agriculture? It makes no sense. So this government cannot give 100 million, but he can give 100 million when he becomes president. That is somebody who cannot be trusted. I personally can't trust him. And let's not even forget, he was in charge of agriculture some time back when we lost millions in the maize scandal. We know who he intends to have as his deputy president when he becomes president. The same character who was behind the maize scandal is there. So he should not pretend when he comes to Mount Kenya and tell us about 100 million that he plans to set aside to help the Mount Kenya region. Well, he actually made us suffer in the loss of the maize scandal. I think this guy needs some serious and instant action. And again, our politics are such that we fail to act, but talk. We have heard of talks of impeaching the deputy president. Why is it taking so long? And if we have all these grounds that we talk about every day, is it only us who are seeing the grounds? The team behind the president in parliament, are they not seeing these grounds? They should impeach him sooner. The guy wants to be hit so that he can go to the ground and tell people, I was impeached by these people because they did not want me in government. The guy is defiant. The guy has gone to another party. The guy is funding another party and supporting other candidates out of the Jubilee flagship. So what other reason are we looking for to impeach this guy? It is very clear. I think we are wasting time as a government trying to sweet talk this guy and trying to see what will, they come and wait and see is not going to work positively for us. I think it's time to act, and action speaks louder.
Okay.
Thanks, Miriam.
All right, Engineer Victor Ngatia there, coming to us all the way from Nakuru there. And just before we get to the next story quickly, because our time is running out, the leaders claimed Mount Kenya residents were not for the BBI and claimed that the government bribed MCAs to approve the bill. It is not that BBI has backing in Mount Kenya. They bribed MCAs to approve it. Mount Kenya is for Ruto, and if anyone wants to bring BBI to us, he must come with goodies. That is what Gachagua is quoted as saying. Kangata claimed Kieleweki and the government had a secret plan to propel Raila to the presidency in 2022. I had the intelligence since I was at the center of power due to my position as the Senate Chief Whip. The government's candidate in the 2022 presidential race is Raila Odinga, but I can promise them that Raila is not sellable in Mount Kenya region. The region supports Ruto's bid, Kangata claimed. Nyoro said they will not be dragged into BBI politics as they were focused on the implementation of the country's development agenda. Do you feel after what happened last week with the counties voting their MCAs, because if it's bribing and coercion, like we've seen here, the government needed only 24 counties, just 24, but all of them voted overwhelmingly to support this, to support the BBI passing in the counties there. So do you think after the failure of Ruto or a no vote in central Kenya region, now the politicians who are supporting DP there, they feel like they have to work overtime to prove their loyalty to deputy president, and so Raila's now is very unsellable? Is that what that is what they're telling him there in Mount Kenya region, Douglas? Do you think now they have to work overtime to prove their loyalty after what happened last week on Super Tuesday?
Definitely yes. I mean, money is all that is in these people's minds. I mean, and one thing I need to tell Ruto, Dr. Ruto, do not think that.
Thank you, Miriam.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Engineer. Just complete your thought, and then Douglas will come in.
If he thinks he can buy loyalty, it is only for a specific time. Sooner or later, that money will not matter. We saw what the president did. It was only a matter of 1 week, going to the media and speaking to the nation, telling them exactly on the content that is in the BBI, calling the MCAs in as much as we saw as if there was an issue of a bribery. But then again, here in Nakuru, I can confirm there was public participation. People on the ground pushed even those who had voted no and decided that they would not vote for BBI. The public participation ensured that they went and supported it in the county assembly. So when they are the first one to tell us that bribery is what is making these people vote, who are known to be the best in bribery? What is wheelbarrow business? It's just bribing the people to believe that they're the best team. For them, they are whatever is already done.
Okay.
Let them walk out of parliament and in leadership. They're cheating the people and thinking they will buy. Come 2022, the money will be over. Okay. They will have nothing else but to come back and agree with the people.
All right. Very well, thank you so much. Douglas Kangata, they're saying Raila is really, really unsellable in Mount Kenya, so I don't know what you're trying to do there. And since he was, at the center of power, as he says, he knows, he has some intelligence. First of all, he's really betraying even the the trust that they had. You know, when you hold a position and you have privilege to access certain information, when you leave that, you should be an honorable person. But anyway, he's saying, you know, that is the plan, that is what is going on. But Raila is very unsellable in Mount Kenya region, and Mount Kenya people don't want anything to do with this BBI. So now they have to work overtime to prove their loyalty. Do you think so?
Miriam, you know, Kangata was the majority whip in the Senate, and at the end of the day, Kangata cannot continue claiming that he had intelligence that we have not seen even William Ruto himself talk about. At the end of the day, everyone in Mount Kenya knows that if you want to swell Raila's name in Mount Kenya region, you have to mention that Raila is going to be made president and all that. And remember, there is that stereotype that has been painted across Mount Kenya region that Raila is a bad person. So Kangata is just taking advantage of the naive populants and also people that were cheering him on. But at the end of the day, he should know that Raila has the right to run for president. Raila has the right to come to Mount Kenya and ask for votes, whether they give him or whether they don't vote for him, and also whether he takes the votes from Mount Kenya or lack thereof. Raila Odinga is an equal candidate for president in this country. The same way they are saying William Ruto. It is the same way now they have monopolized God across this nation. They keep telling us we have God and they have deep state and all that. As if God was not in Kiambaa when people were being burnt in churches in Rift Valley, Miriam. As if God was not in every place that there was post-elections violence and people were dying in churches. We need to demystify and also tell each other the truth is here. That Raila being besmirched and also his name being sold in Mount Kenya region is not going to help anyone. Remember, a majority of Mount Kenya region residents have not been voting for Raila for the longest time. What tells us that Raila is going to be voted in Mount Kenya region in 2022? If Raila Odinga gets votes across the nation, he is a presidential candidate that should be given by votes, including by the Ichamas and the leaders of this world. At the end of the day, Irungu Kangata, the majority whip in Senate, if he had the intelligence like he claims, he should have told himself the truth, and he should not have met with 27 people representing the people of 11 counties in Mount Kenya region. Actually, the people in his backyard, people in Murang'a Township, were talking to him and asking him, Mr. Senator, where did you do your research? So Miriam, this is a hot air as it comes. This is a political hot air, and also this is a politics. Remember how politics is, Rocco. If you keep mentioning that Raila is going to be president in 2022, they think now after the defeat of the Super Tuesday across Mount Kenya region, MCAs were being bribed. Miriam, we have seen MCAs being bribed even by Mike Sonko. They were taken, their phones were taken, but they left their passwords in Nairobi, and they voted against Sonko and impeached him, even after sipping his alcohol and also eating his money and also having a party in Kware. These people left their passwords in Nairobi. Miriam, in this country, we need to know that William Ruto keeps telling us there is a shortage of foods in this country, but he needs to know also that we are not foods in this country, that they can keep lying to us. Miriam, when now these people tell us that MCAs were being bribed, these MCAs had a right to go and defy President Uhuru Kenyatta. If these people went ahead and also including William Ruto, who are defying the President of the Republic of Kenya, nothing happens to him, nothing happens to his children. Why would the MCAs across Mount Kenya and also across the country not defy the President and vote against the BBI? They know that BBI is good. William Ruto knows BBI is good. He has been not fighting BBI directly because he knows that he is going to antagonize the people. Remember, Miriam, when these people tell us these people are for Ruto and everywhere, there is no monopoly of William Ruto across the nation, the Republic of Kenya. It is only in Nandi and also Baringo, where now he has been mobbed into a tribal kingpin. This we have seen the President's initiative and Raila's initiative, the BBI that they brought together through the handshake, and it was voted by the people of Kenya, and also they presented their views across the Republic. Miriam, people are voting in Mombasa, people are voting in Kisumu, people are voting in Meru, people are voting in Garissa. That is what William Ruto likes today. That is what their team likes today. But when they go to Mount Kenya, they cover like the cowards that they are, and now tell us, oh, these MCAs who are about, they belong to William Ruto. Even those in Garissa, even those in Mandera. No, Miriam, we cannot accept these things. They are now going to swear the name of Raila in Mount Kenya region, as if Raila sleeps in Mount Kenya region. Remember, if Mount Kenya region have a right not to vote for Raila, they can vote for whoever they want. But swearing his name because of BBI defeat that William Ruto faced on Super Tuesday, political rise. Again, who is going to trust Irungu Kangata? The Yohan intelligence that he was working for William Ruto. And the president took a lot of time, Miriam, without sacking him, but finally they sacked him. He is a man that is writhing in bitterness and a man that should not be trusted even by William Ruto. As I conclude, Miriam, we need to remind each other the truth, that the MCAs voted out of their own volition. Nobody was given any incentive to go and vote for the BBI report. It is the MCAs that asked for the promise that the president made. The car grant MCAs, senators and MPs enjoy of 7 million today cannot be compared with the 2 million shillings, Miriam. MCAs cannot walk to county assemblies using wheelbarrows. They need to drive themselves so that they can get there fast and dispense their constitutional mandate through the ballot that we gave them in 2013 and 2017, Miriam. Nobody can take MCAs hostage in the name of bribery. Can you, Miriam, over 42 counties, now tell over 42 counties that now these counties have been bribed, Miriam? Really now? No, Miriam, thank you.
Okay.
It is not going to happen.
Okay, thank you so much. And speaking of BBI, page 5 of the Standard newspaper, Karua becomes face of no camp as she takes on BBI with more than 40 county assemblies having passed the proposed Constitutional of Kenya Amendment Bill 2020. The Deputy President William Ruto's reluctance to lead a campaign against it. Now Kenya leader Martha Karua is emerging as the de facto leader of the No campaign. Karua, through her Linda Katiba lobby group, believes that most assemblies do not conduct adequate public participation. Did she hear what happened in Kericho? But and MCAs were only impressed by the car grant and to approve the bill. The former Justice Minister described the referendum bill as fraudulent and declared that she will lead the No camp in a bid to stop the state from mutilating the 2010 Constitution. We're ready. We shall break down the Building Bridges Initiative report to the people, and we shall demonstrate to them that this is fraud. We shall rely on other volunteers to educate our people, Karua said. I commend her for one thing. According to her, she believes this BBI is no good. And she has stuck to her position to the end. She's very clear on her stand. I think I respect her for that. I'll start with you, Javen.
Thank you, Miriam. And thank you for that question and for Mother Karua. And before I answer that, let me isolate the question that you asked Douglas and Engineer about Raila Odinga in Mount Kenya region.
I was trying to run away from it, but go ahead.
Yeah, it's just a minute. Yes. I want just to remind the likes of Irungu Kangata that Mount Kenya is just a part of this country, and Mount Kenya is not the hub that makes decision for the rest of Kenyans. If Raila Odinga is not loved in Mount Kenya region and he is loved across the country, then that is a good gesture, because that cuts across all other tribes rather than the dominant tribe, the Kikuyu in Mount Kenya region. Therefore, they should not bring that tribal card, the same time hiding in the class struggle of the Hasrafas dynasty narrative. They should understand that Kenyans will make their own determination, and that will not be determined by the people of Mount Kenya. But they are also part of this country. But Kenyans will make their determination. On the issue of BBI, I agree with the Mother Karua that he has a constitutional right to oppose or support the BBI, because at the end of the day, nobody is forced to support the document. And at the end of it all, we'll have people who will oppose the document, and we have people who will support the document. That is constitutional. Therefore, to her, that is her right. He need to oppose, but he should. She should oppose by giving us facts. She should not bring the usual lies that we have been hearing from the Tanga guys, saying that the BBI is about pushing former prime minister into State House. He should bring substance with his No campaign and try to give us alternative voice. Maybe we can see if he is true a true leader by the kind of campaign that he will run opposing the document. But all said and done, we have people who will sell the document, the yes camp. At the end of the day, Miriam, that is a very good thing, because that the Kenyans will have to read from the no camp, they will have to read from the yes camp, and they will make their own decision when it comes to the referendum. And I think that is good thing, because Kenyans will be exposed to the truths and to the facts about the BBI by those people who support and those people who disagree with the document. And that is the best, and that is the sweetness of democracy. But at the end of the day, Kenyans will go out and vote. But what I would like to encourage Kenyans is to read the document, reread, comprehend, understand the facts, and read the right information from people who mean well for this country. The team called Tangatanga, they cannot purport to be the people to bring this, to take this country to the next level. They have come out as hypocrites, and they are people who are masters of double standings. Therefore, Kenyans should not learn about BBI from that team. But there is good team that supports the president and the handshake. That is a team that will bring facts on the table about the issues of BBI. Thank you.
Very well. And we were reading that story, of course, some of the Linda Katiba members there, activists, Boniface Mwangi, and it reminded me he was vying for the MPship of Starehe. I vote in Starehe, and my member of parliament is Jaguar. I don't know what he's doing. You know what? I need to check with my constituency and see what's really happening there. What my member of parliament, Jubilee, that is the person you give to lead us. Okay, now while distancing the Linda Katiba initiative from the Deputy President, the NARC Kenya leader said the DP has not publicly opposed the 2010 Constitution, and that any effort to associate the lobby group with him was an insult meant to reduce the country into either Keleweke or Tangatanga Jubilee fractions. So even Martha Karua wants nothing to do with the Deputy President, because he's saying he has not even taken a stand yet. So how can you drag him into the Linda Katiba? But Musa, Martha Karua standing his ground, and he's willing to be the face of the No campaign. Whatever her beliefs are, she's saying, I will not vote for this thing, and I'll go out there and traverse the whole of the country and tell Kenyans why not to vote for the BBI. Is she the woman for the job?
Well, Miriam, I think if it is Martha Karua, then my analysis will not attack or bad negatively on her. She is known, she is resilient. I've read more about her. Maybe I've not seen her in the second liberation of this country. Maybe I was not born, but she is Iron Lady indeed, and this shows the beauty of new dynamics in Kenyan politics, Miriam. The notion of women all the time yearning for nominations, appointments, balancing gender here and there, to that, I think those things cannot fit for Martha Karua, because the kind of politics she is playing, she's taking the war to the people, to the cronies themselves, Miriam. And it is a beauty when you see a woman, a mother, who understands a lot of dynamics, even from home and even in national politics, taking that a center stage, is a beauty to reckon with. And yes, we might have a lot of issues here, like, okay, let's say this Linda Katiba is being funded by foreign nations. Anyway, Miriam, even in normal days, normal setups of things, look at the setups of any opposition in African continent. Bobi Wine, no matter how he denies, he really got a lot of support from foreign donations and think tanks. So for Martha Karua, she is among the people who took Mwai Kibaki to power through NARC. She understands the constitution of this country. She might be responsible for the 2007-2008 post-election violence, Miriam, but I respect her decision. And we should be reminded that no initiative is so perfect for it to be going unopposed, Miriam. No matter how good something is, someone must see a divergent view from it. And for Martha Karua, I really respect her decision. She can really make a good face of, understanding things from institutional and bureaucratic point of view. Remember, Deputy President sees things from political point of view. But for Martha Karua, Remember, many political parties have died, Miriam. A good number of political parties, many of them have been buried. We've been burying political parties in this earlier part of, the late part of this century, as in the earlier part of this century, the 20th century. And for her, NACA has really survived. It has just stayed afloat here and there. I can see the face of NACA is still there. So for Martha Karua to be standing in that position, I see her not even as a politician. I see her taking the center stage of what was perceived to be male-dominating field, whereby, Miriam, the only place where we see women coming in is the part of nomination, gender balancing, diversity. You remember even when she lost election petition with Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, she took it to East African Court of Justice, Miriam, and she won that case.
Yes.
Where the court ordered her to be given 2.5 million as a reward money for the cost she went through. So we are speaking of someone who understands whatever she's doing. There might be a challenge, Miriam, in that, as Engineer Ngati has put it, is that we cannot run from the fact that this is a political country where everything is political, and to make it even more purging and complex, where everything is ethnic, Miriam, we can't purge away from that. So she will face a lot of ethnic acrimony from maybe the Mount Kenya region. But I see her as the face of, maybe the counties, the swing counties, the counties which, maybe they can purge for good voting.
All right.
But my advice to Martha Karua is one, she should not be swallowed by the anti-BBI proponents. The anti-BBI drivers. Remember, Miriam, here, it's very dangerous. Now, she should make herself unique, different. When you see the outfit of Linda Katiba, I see Boniface Mwangi there, a human rights activist. I see her. Kivuda Kibwana has opted out of recently. So they should ensure that they are different in reasoning, in approach, on how they interpret, in institutional understanding of this document, different from BBI. Different from deputy president cohorts, whereby they believe everything is political. So I see in the coming weeks, if she will be the face of no campaign, I see not even the aspect of rally being taken into focus here. One thing I see is that President Uhuru Kenyatta will be happy with Martha Karua. That one I cannot lie to you. He will be happy with her because of one thing.
Okay, thank you so much.
He is seeing someone very genuine. He is seeing someone taking things not from political point of view, but from, Martha Karua has been fighting the current regime. She's been pushing for a lot of things. Even the war she had of NYS and, gubernatorial with Anne Waiguru. So I think these are the positive faces and these are the positive initiatives we should look forward as we purge on to the next phase of BBI, Miriam.
All right. Thank you so much, Engineer Ngatia. We really ran out of time, but I'd like to hear your take on this very quickly. Is Martha Karua the woman for the job here, to lead the No campaign? Is she fit?
No, I think so, Miriam. I look at Martha Karua as one lady who really understands the law. If you remember, even in Kibaki's time, he was at Serena, discussing and ensuring that Kibaki was well represented. If you listen to her arguments, even back then, you'll understand that she really knows what she's talking about. And if you look at her character of even walking out and resigning, the reasons she gave were outstanding. She had a stand and she knew why she was resigning and why it wasn't working. And she needed to look for a way out or to forge forward. I respect her because out of the many women we have, she comes out as one very strong lady who knows exactly what she wants. Secondly, I look at Martha Karua as an iron lady, per se, as we've already called her. If you look at what she's trying to stand for even now, I agree with her in many fronts. But on the Katiba one, I somehow I'm not getting a convergence with her. And for one reason, I cannot hear people tell me that BBI is good and it's going to give 35% to the counties, Then Mother Karua, with her knowledge and background of understanding the law, comes and tells me, where will the 35% come from? I think already that she stooped too low. She has the reason behind why Katiba cannot work. This BBI thing cannot work.
Mm-hmm.
She should come out with her intellectual capacity and explain to us the details as to why she stands on the negative. We cannot have the same arguments. It's like I table a budget of 100 million. Then you're only coming against the budget to argue against the budget. I mean, this is a budget. I'm planning to have 100 million budget so that out of the 100 million, maybe there'll be 50 million for this particular agriculture. Then you come and tell me, no, there can never be that amount of money. And it's not going to be possible because currently we're having a shortfall of the 30 million. You get? So I really would want to push her.
Mm-hmm.
Being a lady that is respected in this country, a lady who understands the law, a lady who understands our Katiba, a lady who would actually tell us something that we don't know in this Katiba that we have, COK 2010.
Mm-hmm.
She should come out and tell us categorically and deeply as to why this Katiba may not be good, or this BBI may not be good for us. I don't know if you get my push or my point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She cannot argue like every other politician on the same ground and expect us to respect her like we always have done.
Mm-hmm.
She has a better understanding. Let her tell us what is wrong with BBI. But don't tell us that 35% is not going to be good to the counties. Don't tell us that the addition of the 70 MPs is not good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in any way, give us another understanding of how we are going to get the 1 man, 1 shilling.
Very well.
I mean, you cannot argue with like any other politician. You're an intellect in law.
Yeah,
you know?
that she is. That she is. Thank you so much, Engineer Ngatia. Douglas, very quickly. I think you're the only person I've not had your thoughts on this, but please, quickly. Martha Karua, is she the one who can lead a successful no campaign against the PBI?
Thank you, Miriam. And remember, I have different thoughts from everyone that Martha Karua is not fit to run a clean no campaign, because at the end of the day, Martha Karua is a person that I also deem as she's a successful lawyer, but Martha Karua messed up politically. And Martha Karua cannot claim the moral authority to direct Kenyans in matters, the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. When Kenyans decided that they want to change the Constitution of the Republic 2010, Martha Karua, on the other hand, says that it is President Uhuru Kenyatta who wants to mutilate the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. Remember, there is nothing the president has told Kenyans to do. They brought the 9-point agenda, and Kenyans built on that and decided that this is about time we do this. This is about time we change this and this and this. And Kenyans, even in 2010, the Martha Karua function that was with President Uhuru Kenyatta, President Moi Kibaki, and also the other function that was led by Raila Odinga, brought the 2010 constitution. So Martha Karua is operating in isolation. Martha Karua is operating from utopia. Martha Karua is operating from Mars. Martha Karua is not operating from a plane or from a pedestal where ordinary Kenyans and also our leaders are operating from. Martha Karua wants to operate as a new sage or also a new stranger to the Republic of Kenya. In 2010, we were brought the constitution by two functions. One ran by the side that was with the President Uhuru Kenyatta, Martha Karua, and also President Moi Kibaki on one side, and also the Prime Minister Raila Odinga and others. Now today, when the constitutional moment comes through President Uhuru Kenyatta and also the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, Martha Karua has a problem with that. It is a shame for a constitutional lawyer, a former Minister of Justice, Martha Karua, to think that it is the president who is mutilating the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. I don't understand our problems with the President Kenyatta. She endorsed him in 2017 and told us what the president is going to do now is consolidate his legacy and go home. So if the legacy of President Uhuru Kenyatta is also helping the people of Kenya do the first amendment to the Constitution of 2010, what changed between now and 2017? This is the kind of hypocrisy that I want to let the Kenyans know, that our leaders, our politicians led by Martha Karua cannot be able to help us as a people to move forward, because they have very, very, very strong vested interest in our national conversations. And also, she is not speaking as a lawyer or a Kenyan that is of sound mind. She is speaking with the political mindset, and this is where I have a problem with her. In 2010, she never told us we need the independent constitution. Moi Kibaki wants to bring a constitution that is going to mutilate our rights and all that. But in 2021, we are having Mother Karua move across the nation and also across media telling us President Uhuru Kenyatta wants to mutilate our constitution. No, Miriam, I cannot buy that line from that politician from Kirinyaga. Her name is Mother Karua and also a lawyer. I cannot buy that, and I won't buy it because this is coming from a pure political interest and also a very strong vested position from a pedestal that I cannot be able to believe because it is led by politician Mother Karua. Whoever is seeing a constitutional lawyer here, I can't see that because I would need to use the same Ukensinka that she used in 2010 when we had the Constitution of Kenya 2010 that we want to do the First Amendment, Miriam. And thank you for having me on the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much, all of you, for your thoughts. Wonderful contribution this morning. Thank you, Jevan Karanja. Thank you, Douglas Kirimi. Thank you, Musa Abdi Haji. And thank you, Engineer Victor Ngatia. So in case you're wondering why Martha Karua feels that she is the one who will lead this no campaign, according to the Standard newspaper, Karua is known not to shy away from taking a tough political stand and even goes against the grain on some national matters. In 2009, she resigned from cabinet citing frustrations from the Mwai Kibaki-led administration. She has balls. She did that. And the Kenya leader had expressed displeasure with handling of reforms and appointment of judges by former President Kibaki. So she said, I'll not sit there and complain as the DP does. Instead, I'll just resign. So in her resignation, Karua claimed her docket had been countermanded by the office of the president, and she was sidelined before new judges were picked and sworn in at State House, Nairobi, while she was on a foreign trip. The former Gishugu Member of Parliament also defied calls to dissolve Kenya to join Jubilee Party in 2007. Karua went against the Jubilee wave in Mount Kenya to battle it out with Anne Waiguru for the Kirinyaga governorship after losing to Waiguru. She put up a spirited legal battle from High Court to Court of Appeal and then to Supreme Court. Karua lost the election petition. Dissatisfied by the Supreme Court decision, she filed a petition at the East African Court of Justice, where she won round one. The East African Court of Justice awarded her 2.5 million Kenya shillings as compensation owing to the Supreme Court's failure to uphold the rule of law in hearing her election petition. How does the Supreme Court of Kenya fail to uphold the rule of law? Is that not should be the guiding factor, the rule of law? But the East African community faulted our Supreme Court. Now we should be worried. All right, thank you so much for watching another interview of Dr. Matanga at Cast TV is coming up. Then after that, we shall come here later at 11 with another very interesting topic, looking at Kenya's position in the United Nations Security Council and this other position it has got in the African Union. What will that mean for this region? My name is Miriam Mugutu. Good morning.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.